All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is literally our first panel of the evening, and I am beyond excited, beyond thrilled to be here with my brother, Sean Radiant Chase from 925 Investments. Brother, tell us how excited, tell us how much energy you got right now, and tell us what you're most looking forward to in life at this moment.
Man, guys. First off, Elijah, thank you for that intro. Man, I'm sorry one for the background. I actually right now in life, what I'm interested in is just satisfying my wife's dream of this perfect house that she's been wanting forever. So if you guys don't know, I just recently bought her the dream home that she wanted. I had no say in nothing. Like I have no say in front of this appliance shop. That's why I'm sitting in the car. She wants me here. I have no clue. I get no say in nothing. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm just trying to accomplish this. It's not like a home ownership that is really what I always chase for. Because my first home ownership was actually rentals. I didn't. I never even thought I would be buying a house other than it being my house as my first kind of like real estate transaction, right? So I guess at this point in life, I'm just focusing on getting my family to a safer neighborhood, especially with where we're at nowadays. With COVID, the election, the riot, it's just so much going on. And if you guys are familiar, I live in Southwest Philadelphia, and I'm gonna say exact location, and you can look it up, 62nd and Woodland Ave, and it's just, I, you know what, for a long time, I thought living there and having gunshots and drug dealers and graffiti and trash everywhere, um, people leaning and scratching on my car. I thought that was just a normal thing, a normal Philly thing to be in the city. Row homes were close together. I got to a point where I just accepted that reality, and one day I woke up. I'm gonna be honest. Last year I woke up through coaching, right? So something that really changed my future is when I got coaching, I accelerated my life, right? And he started to coach me through certain things that I neglected because I accepted this reality of a norm, right? And I remember, like Elijah, I mean, even if you were to come out to my area, you'd be like, Sean, this ain't normal. Why does it, why is it a sunny day and your curbs are wet? And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, it's urine, you know? And for you, it was surprising. For me, it's a normal reality, right? Until one day, my coach said, this isn't normal. It's not really a normal way. I would have thought, you would want to have your family to grow up in.
Right, your
And
experience.
that right there, it just sparked a fire. Like, man, I started to just every day afterwards look around. I was like, man, this isn't normal. And I just chose not to accept it. So to fast forward, in 1 year, I made a focus and a conscious decision to make it a goal to get my family to safety. And it sounds like a huge goal then, but to be able to do it in a year's time frame was just like, and I thought I would have purchased a house for my family by the age of 40. And I did it at the age of 34, so I beat my goal by 6 years. And
Love that, man.
thank you so much. And just being able to accomplish something so big, it just for me now is like, man, I can really do anything. What
Yeah,
next? You know? So really I'm just in a stage right now of what is next. And I know exactly what that is.
I'm so excited, man, because what you really just kind of paved the path for. And guys, real quick, okay, before we get this show started, even though we're already diving deep already, I need for each one of you guys who are tuning in right now, I want you to post it in the comment section and let us know how fired up you are for life in general. The fact that you have breath, the fact that you have guys like Radiant Sean on here sharing their story, their war battles, their vulnerability, and they're opening up and letting us know as investors, as a community, what it really takes to take things to that next level, regardless of what we're going through. I want you to put it in the comment section right now how fired up and how just excited and present you are to be here with us in this moment. Put it in the comment section right now, okay? And make sure you guys hit the like and share button. Sean, what
Yes.
you just created for us was literally the path of momentum. And momentum is one of the most beautiful things in the world because so many people give up before they can ever hit that mark when they're about to find the gold. And that story that you just shared, like the fact that you've created this vision and this picture and just this feeling of, safety for you and your family, and thinking that it was a far away, because at that moment I'm sure it was so far, but you said no, we're going to make the decision. And from that, you manifested that within a year, within 1 year. And the more you do that, the faster you're going to start manifesting that stuff. So that's so exciting. Guys, if that was a beautiful story, like put that in the comment section too, okay? So do want to let you guys know we are going to be talking about some real estate stuff here, but a big part of real estate is mindset and your philosophy and how you carry yourself throughout these transactions. And Sean's been a guy who's been through a lot of stuff, so we're excited to dive in. Sean, you ready to get in here? You ready to do this with me?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start. Let's rock and roll. I'm so amped, guys. Like you don't even know. Like the last investor I just got done watching is George Betty. Shout out to George, man. You hyped me up a lot, man. Let's fucking do this.
Let's do this. Let's do this. So it's an honor for me to be able to interview you, Sean, because I've seen your journey, your whole evolution. When we met at Dave's office almost like 2.5 years ago, maybe. Man, those are good times. But I'm just curious because me as a new investor, right? And I'm sitting here, I'm watching all these speakers today and all these stories. I'm just genuinely curious, right? When it comes to learning this business of wholesaling, right? Because that's kind of what you specialize in. How would you break it down so it's super simple for someone who may be brand new?
All right, yeah. So I mean, wholesaling is a strategy that just kind of fell on my lap, right? So I heard this concept going through real estate investor meetings that you can get a house under contract. Just to sum up what wholesaling may be for those that may not know, is Elijah wants to sell me a house. He wants 50,000. I'll give you 50,000. Let's get an agreement in place under contract, right? And then I go and I sell the rights to purchase this, right? For X amount of dollars more. Let's say on average 5 to 10K. And I make that difference. And then you, right, get the benefits of their 50K that you asked for, right? I get the benefits of the 5, 10K difference, and then the end buyer gets the benefits of having a really good investment property where he didn't have to do a lot of work. I did all the legwork to make sure that the numbers fit something that would be in his criteria, right? So it was a nice match made in heaven, and that's how wholesaling really works. And when I stumbled upon that, it was amazing. I started investing July of 2017, and I was working retail. So just a 9 to 5 job. I think I was at Timberland at the time. And I just made a conscious decision where I was like, man, I need to get married in 3 years. I met my girlfriend at the time, is going to leave me because she gave me a 10-year plan. And that was my jump start to thinking of something else. When I made my first wholesale 90 days later, right? So July, August, September, end of September. And to be able to make 10K in 6 hours, it changed my life completely. It was a complete difference in mindset because not so much the money was a big factor, but for me, the time frame involved to making that money. And I was at a point where the month before, so in June, I looked at my superior. So the next level up is a district manager. And I was like, man, in retail, right? It's seniority. So I said, okay, my manager isn't even a district manager yet, and she's been here for 10 years. I sat with myself and I was like, man, 10 years to the next level. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. The next day, I was crying. I was like, I can't believe I succumbed to like a 10-year run to get to one position. And then when I sat and thought about it, I was like, I don't even want that position, you know? So to compare that 10 years to the 6 hours, it was a life changer for me, a huge life changer for me.
Yeah, that whole experience certainly was. And so you explained that very beautifully. And so for your first deal, right, how in the world did you even put all of the components of that together? Because, of course, there's finding the seller, the property, and then finding the buyer, and then knowing how to structure all that. So for your kind of first transaction, how did you pull all that off?
Right, yeah. So again, guys, anybody that is new and is listening, I want you to know that it is hard. I can't stress it enough, but it's so doable because I found a community of real estate investors that um were sharing what they're actually doing. We're at a time where information is easily accessible, right?
Mhm.
So I really looked at certain things like how do I use this resource when I need it, right? h- I didn't look at where the deals are. I just listened to them and the resources that they're using. So when I would hear like Craigslist, mailers, door knockings, right? I was like, how can I apply that to me? Well, because I didn't have no money, I had to be creative. So going to these events, like even now, this expo, you hear things that people are doing, and if it matched something that I could do, right? Because I didn't have money, but I had the time. Oh, he spent time doing that. I could do that. I could spend my time doing that, right? So I found my first deal just searching through Craigslist relentlessly, like obsessed about finding one deal, right? And as I obsessed through just this one resource of Craigslist, I started to be able to filter out the language of an agent versus some another wholesaler
Mm.
versus a buyer, somebody looking, right? Ver- and this is like the real estate category versus a real feesbo, right? And because I was so obsessed and looking at Craigslist that I started to differentiate the language of each individual post where a seller would be like, hey, I have this house for sale. I'm trying to sell it for this much. Kept it real simple where, a contract for a wholesale, like, hey, ARV as is. An agent, hey, come open house, this and that. Like
Mm.
I started to like pinpoint
The
who is who
pattern.
and
Mm.
categorize them because it made me flip through Craigslist that much easier to the point where any new post I would know. I could see it easily. And through that, filtering out all of the noise, I found this one gem of a deal. And man, I can't forget it because going to the walkthrough, again, guys, brand new. To the You won't know what you're looking at, right? My first time in the walkthrough is like four doors. I meant four walls, a roof. And I'm like, oh, nice. I didn't know anything, but what made it even more comfortable is having resources to reflect on, going back to other investors and asking for their opinion, knowing how to use these tools to my advantage, like Batman. When I need to climb a roof, I use my rope. So I
Mm.
think getting an understanding of that is what enabled me to wholesale in a really fast manner. Dave, what's up, Dave? I see
What's
you.
up, Sean?
What's up,
Didn't want to mess
guys?
with the zone.
Nah, you're not messing it up. And I want to pay homage to you because I mentioned that I got coaching last year is what enabled me to be in this position. Because where I'm at, I'm looking at appliances. That's where Nikki's at, picking out our appliances. She lied to me. She said we'd be home by now. And I'm just sitting here waiting for her. I had no say. But guys, my coaching is under Dave's mentorship. And I just want to say thank you for changing my life in so many different ways.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome, man.
Well, I'm gonna let you two talk later. I gotta service my community, baby. So, Sean, for you, what you did at the beginning was you went on Craigslist. Which does it cost any money to be on Craigslist?
No.
No, right? And what he started to do is because you have to keep in mind, he used the resources that he had. So he didn't have any money. And he knew that you could just literally Google or look up Craigslist and you started searching. And as you were searching, you started to notice that there were like a bunch of different posts, which can be very overwhelming. And I'm sure for many new people, which I mean, you now coach new people. So wouldn't you say that one of the biggest challenges with someone who's new is that they get overloaded?
Yeah, I 100% agree because like I said, it's 2020 about to be 21. We have so much technology
Mhm.
that it can overload and overwhelm you. You almost feel like, hey, I need a system in place to where if somebody call me, this picks up and then it goes through here and it goes through here. It can really overwhelm you to the point where you don't do nothing, you know?
Exactly.
And for me, I like to keep it simple. So when a lot of people come to me for information, I keep it so focused on wholesaling because that's what I do. Oh, you want to do a flip? You know what? I don't think I can help you. What I can help with is wholesaling. I learned the ins and outs of it from working at a title company. So in October 2017, I did get fired. And I told my family that I'm not against getting a job, right? I had to go to everybody because I lived with more of my girlfriend's family at the time. I said, I'm not against getting a job. It just has to correlate with my ultimate goals of real estate, right? And I took a part-time job in title, and that's what really accelerated my learning curve in real estate. Learning the ins and outs of title, man, it was a game changer for me, And then when I said, like, I'll get a job if it caters, the universe gave it back because I never went into the job for the hourly pay. I was just in the mindset, like, I'm here to just every day extract this information and this knowledge. And not against anybody else, but real estate is a profession where you allow the professionals to do their job, right? So if you're a real estate agent, hey, you be the best agent and represent your client. If you're a lender, you're going to be the best broker to make sure your client gets the money, right? And I learned for me that a lot of people wasn't educated in title because they always allowed the title company to do the title work, right? So learning the ins and outs of title, I learned the education around it to accelerate my deals that much faster because I wasn't in a place where I needed to have a professional do it. I'm there to assist a professional. And that's where my value just skyrocketed because I was starting to help agents that didn't know title. Oh, Elijah, to clear this title, do X, Y, and Z. You think you could do that for me? I can. All right, get it done. And I think we can get the closing. Great, Sean. So I learned my value was really education. How can I help people progress forward one step at a time?
Man, that's great because you got paid to learn and you learned faster than almost anyone else because what you were doing was also related in the field. And so that's like, it makes so much sense. That's beautifully put. And so for the buyer, right? So you found this deal on Craigslist. You literally started training yourself to understand the language within Craigslist. You started to know who was actually a real seller and who may have been another investor and all that stuff, which is great because that now saves you time and that actually is your system. And so once you found this property, like what was next? Like, were you nervous to call them? Were you nervous to talk to them? Like, what'd you even say to them? Like once you did interact with them?
I had done a few walkthroughs prior to that, right? That was really nerve-wracking. And it got to the point where I was like, what did I get from my job? My 9 to 5 at the time. I was like, I didn't get money from it, because I'm still living paycheck for paycheck. But I was like, I'm a leader there. What am I good at? And it got to the point where I was like, oh man, I was like, I'm good at communication. I can lead a team of 20 and run a volume $1 million store in retail and lead them annually, right? To hit the quotas. So I was like, man, this ain't nothing but connecting. It ain't no different than calling up somebody and say, hey, your sneakers in stock. Come in and get it. Hey, I got it wrapped up for you, right? So I started to take away that structure of uncomfortability of not knowing real estate. And I started to add just connecting with somebody as if I'm buying a pair of sneakers, right? I put myself in the customer's shoes because I was already doing it every day. So I hit up the owner and I said, hey, how are you doing? I found your post on Craigslist. Can I schedule a time to come and look at it? Rather than beating around the bush, just, hey, he wants to sell something. I know he's the owner. Hey, can I just show seriousness and schedule a time to come look at it? And we did.
That's great. And so tell us what happened on the walkthrough. How did that interaction go?
Elijah, I think you're frozen.
You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Is it me? Let me see.
It is you.
Nope, not me. Let me get my wire. Let me get my wire. But you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
All right. I remember
Guys, let
reading.
us know below. Can you hear me and Sean? Can you only hear Sean,
I
or can
remember
you only hear
reading
me?
Nick's
Let me know in
notes.
the
It
comment
said use a
section.
wire to help with the audio, but I don't know why I can't hear you.
Guys, let me know in the comment section. Can you
did?
hear me, or can you hear Sean?
Hello?
You can hear me now?
No, I can't hear you. YouTube. Hello?
Yeah. So in the comment section, they say they hear both of us. So it's your phone.
No, I can't hear you. I was on such a roll. Hold on, let me look for my headset.
Take your time. Thank you, guys. Thank you for commenting. I see your comments. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Thanks,
Here we
guys.
go. All right. Let's try this.
We're good, brother. Take your time.
All right, let's do this again.
Here we go.
Elijah, you did something. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
No, I can't hear you.
You
But
still
I
can't
guess
hear
you can hit your questions for me, Elijah, in the comments.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Elijah. I don't know what you're asking, but should I reset it?
I just messaged you.
Is it me? I can't hear
It
you,
is
Elijah.
you.
I'm sorry. I
How's
know
now?
everyone can hear me.
You can hear me now? Yes, no, yes, no.
All right, I guess I'll just continue along with my story, even though I can't hear you, Elijah. But yeah, so I found the buyer, right? So when I went and I looked at the house, I just kept it kind of more just casual from that point on. Not so much real estate based, but just more of a connecting base, right? So you have a pair of sneakers. I looked at it that way. I just want to buy it. I just eliminated the whole concept of being nervous about real estate, and I just kept it a more just, hey, look, I'm gonna figure this out if I want to buy your house or not. If not, I don't. What helped me a lot is that having, I refer to this a lot, a resource, a community of investors that you can always reflect on and ask questions to. So learning that when somebody says to you, hey, call me up anytime my doors is open, here's my number. I took that literally. You can, don't say that to me, because I'm gonna call you when I need your help. If you're saying, hey, here's my card, call me for help, I'm there. Elijah, I hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Keep
Right.
rolling, brother. Keep rolling.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, look, if you reach out to me and I'm in the audience and you say, hey, here's my number, call me up, I'll help you. Right? I took that so literal that when I needed help to analyze this fees boat I found on Craigslist, I was relentless. Can you come look at it? And I had a good friend of mine come look at it. So he was actually a speaker earlier, Home Thai. He came to look at it, and I got it under contract with his assistants. And man, it felt like cardio. I can't get over how like my heart was racing giving him this piece of paper to sign. And it was funny because he gave me the key to the house in advance to put it on lockbox, right? And I had my keys on me. I was getting ready to put it on, and I said, wait, he didn't even sign yet. Wait till he signs. And when he finally signed, oh my God, I wanted to run out that house and just scream. And that's all I was just happy about, the fact that I got all the way up to that point of an actual homeowner signing a real contract. Guys, when I say I was just so happy up to that point, because as a brand new person, when you hear contracts, agreements, I thought, oh, you need a lawyer. Oh, you need to pay a lawyer to get something done and blah, blah. I got all my contracts from the real estate network that I joined. And it made it real. I was like, man, this piece of paper that I just printed from somebody, it's like real. I'm about to sell this piece of paper. It can't be, you know? And even then I was a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
Like, all right, okay, he signed this, he gave me the rights to buy, but it was just like half the battle, because next was like, all right, after
after that passed, it's like, all right, I gotta find a buyer now. I got 30 days to find an actual buyer. Now what? Right? And I just remember what everybody said. Hey, there's buyers in this community. If you have a deal, there will be buyers. Right. So I started to go to the community, and every member, I'm like, hey, I have this deal. Do you want to buy it? I have this deal. Do you want to buy it? I have this deal. Everybody, I was relentless. I was going to sell this deal no matter what, or else everybody was going to hear about it no matter what. Either way, I was so happy and ecstatic that I got to that point that if I lost it, it was still a nice learning and experience that I got up to that step, right? Of running title at that. And that was my first experience with title. So when somebody gets something on the contract, just to educate you guys, you have to make sure the title on the house is clear. I didn't know none of that. Nobody told me none of that. It was just like, hey, my guy was like, here, go to this title company, and that's where I learned the value of what title was and how like it shouldn't be tossed around lightly, title work, because that's where I learned. I was like, okay, what's title? What's deed? I started to learn this lingo through just dealing with this one contract. It gave me so much value that I was like, man, if I make money, that's a huge bonus. But just to get this far, I'm so humbled to like be less than 90 days in and to get this far, right? And then somebody in the group reached out to me, like, Sean, is this really your deal? I'm like, yeah, this is really my deal. Like he couldn't believe it, because I was just so fresh in, and like 60 days in, like, is this really your deal? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, well, how'd you get it? I was like, I found it on Craigslist, met him up, walked the property twice, got it on the contract, gave it the title, and I'm just looking for a buyer. Just to that, I was exhausted, like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, like, I'm exhausted. Like, what's next, And he was like, all right, I'm going to find a buyer. And I was like, okay, cool, let's find a buyer. Then I didn't know JV or none of that stuff, right? And I just want to issue this out because this could really make a deal go bad for a brand new wholesaler if he doesn't understand the value of somebody bringing you a buyer, because I didn't understand JV. Luckily, I was so humble and excited that it didn't matter, right? So I didn't know that him bringing a buyer, he would get 50% of my wholesale fee, right? But the guys, yeah, I made 10,000, right? And I split 5-5. But the education he gave me, like, you can't pay for it.
Exactly.
And that's what I want to stress to everybody, is that when you ask for help, that the value that they bring to get you to the finish line, you can't go to somebody and really pay for that, It's theory based. But when you have something and you ask somebody for help, it becomes realer than you would ever think, And this, he is now a mentor, a good friend of mine. I call him my rich dad, He was like, he gave me the option. He's like, do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it, right? And I was like, I'm like, wow, I want to do it. Let me do it, I was like, let me learn everything. And he was like, okay. And I liked how he put this. He was like, okay, Sean, do it. I'll guide you. If you so happen to fall, I got your back. And it's, as a brand new person, it's hard to have somebody say that to you and go with full confidence to believe it. But I did. I had nothing else to lose. I hated retail. I was like, hey, I'm just having fun at this point. And I was just a cup getting filled with water, such an empty cup, where he was like, Sean, go do that. Okay, go do this. Okay, do this. Lie to you not, 2 weeks later, we were at the settlement table and I got a check for 10 grand. And it just was the most amazing feeling ever. I remember it till like the day I died, my first wholesale.
Man, I have, like, that is such a remarkable story. And I think one of the things, like, especially for someone who's new and even as someone who's experienced, it's like we're constantly looking for environments that just help us thrive. And it seems like from day one, you've constantly, just added and added great people to your environment. And so for someone who's new, like, how would you kind of recommend they go about with, maybe selecting a mentor or selecting a buyer who can come in and walk through with them? Because there's a bunch of people that will raise their hand that they'll do this and that. But how do you really know someone's genuinely there to serve you?
You know what? the most honest way and authentic way I could say it is to connect with somebody. Like really, when I say connect, it's not just like like a casual communication here and there. Like really take the time to connect with somebody, learn their story, their biography, because I think, and share yours. You know, I think that's what enabled me to actually build trust with somebody, is me always going into a situation like, hey Elijah, I need your help. I live in a bad neighborhood. If I can find a buyer for this contract, it helps me a lot. And I was never too, you know, sharing your story is vulnerable. It puts you in a vulnerable position, right? And when my story first got shared, it wasn't willingly. I was actually sitting in the audience, right? And my friend Hone, Ty, the one, you know, he spoke earlier, let me help you escape your 9 to 5, his little tag. Um, he threw me out there. He said, Sean, you know, he just kind of picked on me. Sean, you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? I'm like, yeah, you know, like I am. You hate your job, right? Yeah, man, thanks. All right, and you got 2 kids, right? Paycheck. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, yeah, I man, yeah, tell everybody everything. And I was so embarrassed. I was sweating, you know, but that's my story
Yeah.
at that time. And I couldn't deny it, but everybody heard it. And when you share your story, people hear and relate to it in a way that you would never imagine had you not shared it, right? So I'm gonna be honest, you never read somebody's resume. You never read somebody's resume, but you would read their biography. So connect with somebody in that sense where you guys share stories, because it's really like a huge sneak peek behind the curtains, and you get to know somebody's high and low. And when you connect with somebody on like a high and low level where you relate, um, it's like a common feeling that you guys automatically share, and it's like even if it's a 1% amount of trust that went up, it it's 1% more than before, you know. So I guess for me, I always kept myself vulnerable, and being vulnerable all the time, it made me powerful, you know. By putting my story out there, it lets people know why I'm going so hard, and they're more inclined to actually help me, you know, because I'm being so honest with what I'm trying to do, you know, and I'm so focused on it that people do listen, you know. And the ones that feel your story, Sean, I remember that. I remember when I was living 9 to 5. I remember when I hated my job. You know, I remember when I was trying to marry my wife. Oh man, I remember when I was hearing gunshots outside of my my house, you know, and and that is what enabled everybody to help me with my story to better what it is that I really wanted by being vulnerable. You know, something, a huge factor that got me to have my whole family to agree to moving was that to my older sister-in-law, you know, she moved out of our house because of a gunshot experience in front of the house, right? And I said to her, I said, sis, I was like, I want to move so bad. I need your help to convince everybody else. I was like, since you left, we've experienced 3 gunshot experiences, you know? And I said to her, I said, you know, what makes me sad is one day, the 4th one, I would hate to have to call anybody up and say, hey, it came through our front window, you know? And she felt that. She lost touch, right, of accepting that reality and loved her new reality, that she forgot that we're still there. And it was just a game changer to share that with her, because me and my sister-in-law barely ever talked, but I was just so passionate and focused on getting my family to safety. I was like, you know what? I'll be the one to have the most uncomfortable talks with anybody and everybody. I'll be that one. You know, hate me now, but you'll appreciate it later. You know, so I meant, again, to everybody, share your story. That's how you get that trust level up there. You know, there's so many times where I will, you know, like I tell you guys, if I'm gonna tell you guys now, hey guys, reach out to me for help. I will always be here to help you guys with wholesaling. I have students that pay me for wholesaling one-on-one. Even if you don't pay me, I still help you. That's the crazy thing, you know? And I help because I love helping people who's relentless. I've connected with my students, not through meetings or nothing, right? Not through networking events. I met them through social media, right? And they reach out to me so much and with so many questions, right? That we built such a level of trust that I genuinely want to see them, do better for themselves. One of my students is a single mother living in West Philly, and I say, why do you want to do this? And she said, I want to show my mother something different. I want to change the way. And then I also want to show my daughter that it's okay to be single, strong, and powerful. And I love that. If she had not shared that with me, I wouldn't be as connected to her as I am now. And we're like 4 months in. She's on her first wholesale deal, pending closing. I'm so proud of her. Another person, my good student and friend, Jean, I met him last December. In January and February, he did his first wholesale deal. Blew my mind. And I'm like, man, I love him. He's an immigrant from somewhere in Africa. I wouldn't say, I don't know, Zimbabwe or something like that. And I'm like, it just makes me love him so much, because I was like, man, you just came here when you were 17. You're on a green card and you're wholesaling. You're making it happen. Like, when you learn somebody's story, you connect it in a different way where they really want to help you, and that's, if I can give you guys that, share your story. It makes you vulnerable, but that's where the power is.
That might be one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard all day. And I've been sitting in this chair from 9 a.m. listening to millionaires speak, man. And you just literally shared the secret to connecting with people, and it's through stories. And your story, my brother, is so powerful, so inspiring. Guys, I have another 5 to 10 minutes here with Sean before he has to get off here. He's a very busy dude. Okay. So whatever questions you guys have for Sean over anything, let's post them right now. Post your questions in the comment section. We're going to pin them up. We're going to get the questions answered. Here we go. Let's get them rolling. We got a lot of people here. People are saying this is amazing. Great stuff, Sean. Nicole says she's passionate about real estate. I wake up knowing I will be successful no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah, Nicole.
Love it.
Hey,
love
guys,
it.
look, if I Google any of your names, right, your Facebook or something may pop up, and I can maybe go through it and figure out your story. But you know what? I want to let you be the one to tell your story. That it's the most powerful thing, guys. Like, share who you are, what you want, because the right people will hear it and they'll be there to help. Hey, Nicole, I remember waking up every day passionate about this. I remember going to the gym, listening to my education. When I was doing retail and I made the decision to want better, it made me a better person, worker all around. When shipment came, 50 boxes, I'll do it, because it put me in the dungeon to consume all of this knowledge. It put me in the dungeon to reach out to Elijah and be like, yo, how'd you do it? Guys, connect in a way where you really want to learn them, and relate in a way where that trust just grows, because you feel each other.
Hone is in the building, and Hone says, today his mess is his message. Very powerful.
It is, guys. It really is.
All right. Quinoa asks, how do we connect with you, Sean? Sean, what's the best way for people to get? Actually, we'll say that for the end. We'll give out your information at the end. Is that fine?
Yeah.
All right. Laura asks, has COVID forced you to pivot at all with the current landscape? How have you pivoted since COVID's happened? What's business been like?
Oh, man, you know what? COVID, I hate to say this, and, I'm sorry about all the victims that have been lost for this and everything like that. But, personally for me, I benefited a huge amount off of COVID. And during the break and the quarantine, when everybody wasn't doing nothing, I went into, the dungeon with my coach, and we started working and generating leads and growing. I took that downtime where everybody was just relaxing or doing nothing or trying to figure things out. I went into growth mode. How can I grow? Me and my coach would do drills. What would happen when things get back to where I can door knock again? What would that look like? So for me, COVID was really beneficial, because I went back and, started to create a system that I can have myself replaced. And it worked. It worked. All that downtime, it massively worked, because I just started to promote myself in ways where leads were coming in, because nobody was helping nobody no more. That was the realization that nobody was helping. And I was like, man, I'm all about it. I'm here to help everybody. Let's go, you know? And I guess because through coaching, I developed this whatever it takes mentality. So if you guys, when you follow me on Facebook, that's all you'll see is whatever it takes. Is that I was in go mode, you know, hand sanitized mask, whatever it took, I'm still going to be out there to provide a service and to be of value, because I know that was the time to be of value and service, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like prime time for sure.
I didn't have to pivot. If anything, I had to ramp it up 1,000 times more, you know?
Mrs. Hunter and Kathy asked, what are some of the top effective ways that you are seeing for marketing right now?
Miss Hunter, I love that question. I love that question because, guys, I'm only 3 years in, you know, and my goal is to become the most successful wholesaler in Philly. And I want you guys, you could do it without this whole technology, the system, automation, paying for services. I do it the old fashioned way, guys. Direct to the seller, door knocking. That's how I do it. It's the most money I've made door knocking. Reason why is because it's so forward. Think about it. I've heard prop stream so much from people. Hey, Sean, what about prop stream? I was like, okay, well, look, if you see it, why wouldn't 10 other wholesalers see it, right? And if you see this one address, mind you, that seller probably ran through 3 or 4 wholesalers by that time. After 3 or 4 wholesalers, the seller's educated. They know what the process looks like. You're wasting their time, right? So by the time you may hit that prop stream lead, the seller's like, hey, I want my deposit. If you're going to waste my time for a month, then, you know, for me, I'm so straightforward. Hey, how are you doing? My name is Sean. Don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to let you know that I do represent some clients in this area that develop, and I'm just out here to show that I'm hungry. You know, I'm trying to feed my family. I'm just doing whatever it takes. Here's my card, my magnet. If you could put on your fridge, that'd be awesome. And also, if you're looking to sell or buy or anything like that, this is my area. I'm always around. Call me, please. You know, and they would just love that energy, period. You know, that I'm out here just, you know, doing my due diligence to connect with the community. And I just want to let you guys know that's the most effective way I find for me, because it leads to so much other things. You know, I remember going to my most recent wholesale, right? That I'm closing on Tuesday. So please follow me because you'll see the results Tuesday. That when I went to go to this meeting, the next door neighbor had a house to sell. And I just introduced myself. Hey, sir, I just want to let you know I'm just here to meet with this owner to purchase their home. I didn't want to alarm you or anything by like a stranger being in your neighborhood, pacing back and forth. But yeah, my name is Sean. You know, how are you? And he's like, oh, you're buying this house? I was like, yeah, I intend to. Hopefully it works. I don't know, you know, but let's have fun trying. And he's like, oh, I got a house to sell. So, I mean, guys, that's how I find my leads. You don't need a lot of technology. You don't need this whole system. Just go out there and connect. Make friends with people is the best way to do it, because if they like you, they'll call you.
That's true. And if they don't like you, they won't call you. And that's how you know.
Yeah, basically, you know.
All right. Hona is asking a personal question here. Hone says, if I didn't air him out in the beginning, would he have shared it himself?
I'm going to be honest, no. I probably wouldn't have. And I want to be honest with you guys that you should practice sharing yourself, because since then I've shared my story so much that it is my power, you know, and I'm so glad that he threw me out there and under the bus and made me sweat and embarrass me, because it was a really pivotal moment in my life that just changed completely when I accepted that, you know what, I'm not fucked up for where I'm at, but I'll be fucked up if I stay there. You know? And I just own them. Yeah, home. Paycheck to paycheck, guys. Yes, that's me. Help me out, people. You know? And they did. It's the best thing, guys.
I love it, man. All right. So literally a bunch of people have been asking this question, and everyone wants to know how to connect with you. So let's make this the final question. This beautiful lady here, she says, you cheat, I believe, Thomas. I was fortunate to have a friend that thought this would be beneficial to me. I live in Georgia. Shout out Georgia. And would love to learn to work with a wholesaler that's local in the Philly market, such as yourself, Sean. So everyone's asking, how can they connect with you to learn more? And also let us know kind of about the coaching program that you are doing. I don't like to shout out people's programs and stuff, but I know that you're actually out there, someone who's investing that time and energy and actually being personable with the people who do, are looking to get started or, wanting to get into the affiliate markets or any questions about them. So let us know about your coaching stuff, and then also let us know about how we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, guys. So, I mentioned that I did get coaching with, if you guys seen him earlier, Dave Tran, about a year ago. And the value that he brought into my life was so monumental and beneficial that I said, Coach, I was like, people need you out there. They really need you in your service. And he said, yeah, Sean, I definitely agree with you. But, I spent 10 years to acquire this knowledge, if not more. And I paid so much in seminars to develop who I am and stuff. And that's not the point. The point is that you seen the value in me to pay me this chunk for coaching, right? Why I don't feel the need that it's right for me to devalue myself, because it doesn't do you a disservice, because I should have gave you a discount too. But you know what? I'm not going to discount myself. And that right there blew my mind. I was like, you know what? You're right. But at the same time, I was like, but people still need you. And he was like, well, Sean, and then this is where I transitioned and I had a growth, right? Where he said, well, Sean, why don't you teach him? And I'm like, but I'm not a teacher. You know what I mean? I'm like, I never. And he was like, yeah, Sean, you're not a teacher, but you are a leader, right? And I was like, yeah, I am a leader. He was like, well, then lead them in how you wholesale. And I was like, it made me think. I was like, man, if I was the teachers, how would I teach it? And it really, really forced me to create a 10-step wholesaling system, step by step, on how I do it. Right. And I loved it. It changed how I wholesale too. Right. It made myself more structured. How do I teach somebody this, and keep it simple, based, and fun. Right. And yeah, my one-on-one coaching, it really pushes you to be uncomfortable a lot, because what enabled me to, I guess, get real estate up and going is the fact that I was confident in my physical attributes. I spent 5-6 years in the gym,
Yep.
getting healthy. And because I was confident with myself, it made me confident to learn finances a lot more. Are you mute?
Yeah, I'm talking to Dave. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. It allowed me to learn finances a little bit more. And my one-on-one coaching looks like this, guys. Just so you know, we talk for about 1 to 2 hours a week. I give you something to do, you go do it. Just simple tasks. I realized that if you can't do simple tasks, you won't do nothing else, right? So it's like going to the gym. If you just can't meet me there at 8, 9, whatever time we agree upon for training, how do you expect to get the results yourself, to lose weight, to gain muscle? So I think that's the misconception that a lot of people don't get, is that they ultimately got to do the work. I can only guide you to it, but you got to do it. You still got to lift the weight. You still got to build the muscle, And that's what I learned to do with people, is create something so simple that it's too simple for you not to do it. I know it works because I do it. And even one thing, guys, I challenge everybody who's on the chat. I challenge you guys all tomorrow. I'm at Monday morning. If you want to wholesale, go to your neighborhood and knock on 10 doors. And my students would say, well, what do I say? I was like, don't say nothing. Just knock on the door. And I was like, you already can't even knock on the door and you want to know what to say. Right. It wouldn't work that way. And I say, just knock on the door and then come back and tell me how you felt. Because the results is amazing sometimes. And I don't want to give you guys your own results. I want you to discover it yourself. Monday morning, go knock on 10 doors in your neighborhood.
And then once you knock those doors, then you can hit them up on Facebook, baby.
Yeah, guys, you know what? I want it to be like that. Do not call me if you don't knock on 10 doors, because you won't be ready. It's the truth. It's the God honest truth. And I've had students pay me for 1 month of coaching. And then the next month I said, hey, look, I don't want you as a student, because I don't want you to waste your money. If you couldn't do these simple tasks, how can I rely on you to do bigger things, especially when it's $5,000, $10,000 on the line? And then Sean, you're right. Let me go work on this stuff. When I get cleared out of my life, I come back. And they get to a point where they become honest with themselves.
Love it, man. So is Facebook the best place for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you guys my number too. So
yeah,
you can type it in there.
Yeah, let me give me a second. 543. All right, number, give it to me.
215-800-5862.
Should have this memorized, man. This should be my number one speed dial number. Come on.
And my Facebook is where I'm most active at. So guys, social media, huge resource. Huge resource. Don't be shy. That's where I share myself the most. Instagram is more for fun and entertainment, but Facebook is where all the pros are at, the playmakers. So my Facebook is Sean Radiant Sun, spelled exactly. Yep, you got it.
I got you, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our session here. We have one final session of the evening, which is actually Sean's coach.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the next link. But guys, listen, make sure you touch base with Sean. Right? He literally provided so much value. Sean, we appreciate you for taking time out of your day-to-day just to service our community. It is truly an honor to hear your story and how you've grown, and for you to share vulnerably what it takes to get to where you are. And brother, we're so excited to be a part of your journey. And literally the next 5 years, this man is going to become one of the top guys in Philadelphia. Make sure you stay in touch with him because he is all the biscuits and gravy that you could ever want. Sean, we appreciate you, brother. Attendees, we love you guys. So we'll see you guys soon. We have one final show, his mentor. Make sure you guys go check it out. All right.
This is the finale right here, guys.
Finale.
Stick around.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.